So, okay, untuk yang ni kita akan cover conditional statement. So, let's create in a new class, conditional. We call it conditional. Of course, you can use any other name. Okay, now the file name should be conditional Java. Okay, similarly, we start with the public static. It must be a void. Okay, let's have two variable, x equal to minus 100, for example. Conditional is actually in this form. So let's say you have fx less than 0, then you print out something like this. Print line, let's say negative. Okay, so you can compile this new file, java c conditional .java, and then to run the file you have java conditional. Of course, it will print out negative because this statement will evaluate it to true. If say this one is 200, now positive 200, when you compile, should be conditional. When you run, there's nothing printed on your screen because it will skip this statement because this condition is no longer true, unless you create something like this, else, and then you say here positive, for example. Now in this case, when you compile and then run, you should get positive. And then if you put negative here, when you compile and run, you should get negative. Okay. Or you can make it something like this, else if x greater than 0, and then you have else here, and then you say you say 0. So now what happen is, if it is negative, of course it is printed negative. Java conditional. If you run this file, since it is negative, then you get negative. If it is positive, then it should be, the output should be positive. Now if it is 0, then you have, the output should be 0. Now you have three statements here. You have three conditions here. Either x less than 0, or x greater than 0, or x or else. You can also have something like this one. You can create something like, for example, if x equal to else if x greater than or equal to 0, you can put something like this. Then you can say and then over here instead of negative you can say greater than or equal to 0. So when you compile this, and then you have two output here, 0 and greater than or equal to 0. Now this is not a good way to write code, because by default this one is actually equal to else, unless you have something like you combine the statement. So let's say you have a range of x up to 10, for example, and then you have, of course this one is no longer valid, and then you have something like greater than 11 to 20, and then you have else here. Then you can have something like, and then you output here, say between 0 and 10, and here you can say between 11 and 20, and then here you can say greater than 20. So this is another way to now let's say ux here. So let's say I put x equal to 15. So the output should be we have error here. How to use Well, logical operator. What's wrong with the code? Um, what's wrong with the code? Let's save the file first. Let's compile. I have this error. Yeah, extra closing bracket. Okay. Okay. Now the output should be between 11 and 20. The first one will produce 0. The first statement, the first conditional statement. The second conditional statement will produce this output. Of course, another way to another option for conditional is to use switch. Switch. Let's say we want to test the value of x, then we can use switch. So case 10, for example, then you can say system.out.println 10. You can say break. You can have 15, for example, 15, and you can say 15, and then you can say, let's say you have 20. Like this. And then you can have a default here. A default, and then say other than 10, 15, 20. So not that for default you don't need to put a break over there. So okay, this is how do you use switch. So let's now say let's reassign x to 20 for example. Now when you compile this, you should get 20. The output should be 20. Now if you put something like 32 for example here, when you compile, the output should be other than 10, 15, 20. So it will result this statement. So this is the option that you have when you use conditional statement. Conditional statement. So you have the option of to use if and switch. Of course, if else statement is more flexible than switch, because over here for each case you can only put a cardinal value. Unlike if statement, it is more flexible where you can put a range of value. Another logical operator is OR. Instead of AND, you have OR. For example, let's say you create another variable y equal to um, 10, and then you have z equal to 20. Now you can have something like you can have a statement that say if y equal to 10 or z equal to 25, then system dot you can say true over here, and then here you have system dot out dot print line is say it is false. Now instead of n, we use or. Now let's start with n. Now you want to test whether y equal to 10 and z is also equal to 25. Of course, the output should be false, right? Yeah, because the statement say that y must be equal to 10 and z must be equal to 25. So instead of print out this statement, the code print out this statement. Now if you use or instead of n, this is logical operator or, and then you can have something like this one becomes true instead of false becomes true, because you only need one of these to become true. So since y equal to 10 is true, then because in or truth table for or is you only need one of the item to be true in order for the statement to become true. So unlike and, you must have both variable become is true are true in order for the statement to be evaluated as true. So okay, for in this topic we covered conditional statement. You have the option of to use if else or switch, and also we covered the logical operator and logical operator or. Okay. Okay, what next? Next one is the difference between plus and minus. So let's create another class. The difference between okay, now you have not over here. You should not over here that you have P and M as a capital letter. So the name of the file should be identical to that as well, plus minus. Now we want to differentiate the difference between plus plus k or k plus plus. The difference between putting plus plus before the variable name or after the variable name. Now let's create a variable k equal to 0. Now let us print out this k plus k, and then print out again k plus plus, and then print out here k. Now how about minus minus k? K minus minus, and then print out the last one k. So what would be the output of this? We start with 0, and then we have plus plus k, and then we have k plus plus, and then k minus minus k, k minus minus, and k. Okay, let's check the output. Now let's compile Java C plus minus Java. Now when you compile this Java plus minus, okay, this is what you get. 112 110. Right. Now what happened here is you start with 0, right? What happened here is you do the plus plus k. That means you do this operation first, the increment first. So k become 1 here, and then when you print out, it become 1. Now in the second statement, you print out the value of k. So the previous value of k is 1. So that's why the output is 1. Now after that, you do the k plus plus. That means k now, the content of k is now 2. That's why when you print out here k, the final value is 2. Now when you do minus minus here, the value here is k. K is 2. When you do minus minus here, so this operation will be executed first. That means k become 1. That's why when you print out, the output is 1. Now similarly for the fifth line here, instead of executing k minus minus, it output the value of k first. So the current value of k is 1. That's why when you print out, the value should be 1. But after that, it will deduct the minus 1 to the current value of k, which is 1. 1 minus 1 is become 0. That's why when you print out k here, it becomes 0. So I hope this will demonstrate the difference between plus plus k and k plus plus. Of course, this is the simplest case. So in many cases, there is no difference between plus plus k and k plus plus. Similarly, there is not much difference between minus minus k and ki minus minus, unless for certain very special case like this one. But most of the time, the effect is the same. Either you start with plus plus or minus minus first, or put it after the variable name. So the effect should be the same. So that is the difference between plus minus. Now, okay, the last one. The last one is how to read the content of a file. Read the content of a file. So you start with import statement, and then you want to import two files, java.util.style. Okay, let's call this. Now let's create a new class. We call it read file. We create a new class. We call it read file. That's why the file name should be readfile.java. Similarly, you have to start with public static and void main string args. Now when it comes to reading a file, so you need to enclose the code inside exception handling code. So in Java you use this exception handling, try, and then to catch the error, like this. Okay. So any interaction with input output, so it must be enclosed within the try catch error handler. Now you can create a file. Let's say create a file, new file. Let's say we have a file, we call it nota.txt. We create a new object file. And then to read the file, we need a scanner. Scanner comes from Java util. The file class comes from Java IO. So create a new scanner. new scanner from the file F, and you can use loop while, and then test the content of the file. So you want to test whether there is another line in the file. So you use this statement, and then to read the data, you create a string. So any data in the file should be treated as a string. Data, string data. And then you read the content of the file. You use next line method, and then you want to simply write out the content of the line data. Now, of course, if that is successful, then you can close the file. And then you simply close the file. Now, to catch the error, one of the error is file not found exception E, and then you can say system.out.println, and you can say an error occurred, and then you can simply print stack trace. So this will print out the detail of the error. Now at the end of the program, you can say system.out.println, and then say, and you can say goodbye, to indicate that all program ended successfully. Now let's compile this code. Okay, Java read file dot Java C. To compile, use Java C. Okay, and then run the file Java read file. Okay, it said an error occurred. Now the good thing here, it produce error and say the nota.txt file not found exception. But the good thing here, your program does not crash. How do you know that? Because it goes to the last line here, which is system.out.println. It means your program, even though there an error occurred, the program continue to run without crashing. That's why you can still continue execute the last line here, which is to print out goodbye. So even with exception or error, your program can continue run. Now of course we don't have this file, that's why the error occurred. So you need to create this file. So one way to create the file is simply create a new file like this, first line, and then save this new file as nota.txt. Now when you run the file again, there shouldn't be any error because nota.txt is already created. If you check your folder, you should have the nota here. This is nota.txt. Now if you add another line, the second line, when you run your file again, the Java file, you should have the second line statement printed, and then you save the additional third line, for example. And then when you run, you don't need to compile because you still use the same code. So you can directly run the program without compiling. You only need to compile again if you want to modify the code. So in this case, we don't change the source code, but what we do is we just add additional line in the text file. So that is how to read the file, to read the content of a file. You can use the two objects here, file and scanner. Files come from IO, scanner come from util. And file not found exception is also comes from IO. Okay. So okay, itu saja untuk